Now, shall we go through some dalail? How much time for? Huh? Is it? Oh, mashallah, tabarakallah. That's what I like to hear. I'm thinking it's after 1 hour or so. Okay, Dalil of Ahnaf. Alright? Why do Ahnaf say that the reading of Tashahud is wajib and not rukun? We're talking about what? The sitting for the final Tashahud, they all agree is fard, with their duration difference, yeah? So we don't need to really discuss that because they're all in agreement, really. Alright? But where they say, Ahnaf say that Tashahud, the recitation of it, is wajib, not rukun. So what is their proof? The proof, the most famous hadith in the madhab is the one from the Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam was teaching him Tashahud. And when he taught him Tashahud, he said, إِذَا قُلْتَ هَذَا أَوْ فَعَلْتَ هَذَا فَقَدْ تَمَّتْ صَلَاتُكَ. When he taught him Tashahud, and he said, when you say the Tashahud, recite the Tashahud, or you do that, your Salah is complete. So they say Tashahud is an action and recitation, because Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, if you say it or do it, فَعَلْتَ هَذَا, meaning the sitting of Tashahud. If you said the Tashahud or you said for it, you tammat salatu, your Salah is done. There is another wordings of the hadith. This hadith has weakness. Okay? Meaning, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told him, when you have said this or done this, talking about the Tashahud, recitation and sitting, you have said this or done this, then your Salah is being completed. You have finished your Salah. It doesn't mean after the tahiyyat start talking. But technically, if you take fatwa, they probably say your Salah is correct. Yeah. Did you understand this point so far? Now, think. What Ahnaf are saying is, okay, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, aw, or, do, say this or do this. Now this, if you think carefully, if you do one, say it or do it. Thus, meaning either sit or read, your Salah is done. But it's impossible to read without sitting. Tashahud only is being done by Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in this. So the Tashahud, if you read it, you got to be sitting. And if you don't read it, you got to be sitting. So the sitting is fard. Sitting is fard. And that's why the reading is wajib. Normally in the madhab, they say the wajib can only be from an amr, from a command. Other hadiths do have command, which I will use for example, Hanabila in a minute, inshallah. So they say the sitting is fard and the reading is wajib. Or Malikis, they use the point from Al-Musi Salatahu because it came, there is a extended version of it, actually, the hadith, but they've taken the hadith as well to say none of it is fard. Because Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam didn't tell him to do at-tahiyyatu and Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. And so they say the sitting of a duration of salam, which is proven from Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, other than that, because there is a hadith coming as well. So the Malikis, they say none of it is fard. Clear? There are other madhahib, within Maliki madhab, they do say is wajib as well. But the overall Malikis, they say, consider it as sunnah to read these Tashahud and salawat. But obviously, a Maliki madhab has a lot of views. So they do have a view which says it's wajib, but the fatwa of the madhab is sunnah. Now, Hanabila and Shafi'i, they say the hadith of Ibn Mas'ud, which says, before at-tahiyyat was made fard, on us, we used to say Assalamu ala Allah. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to them, لا تقولوا السلام على الله فإن الله هو السلام ولكن قولوا التحيات لله. And then he, at the end of the hadith, Ibn Masud said, before the tahiyat was made fard on us, we used to say Assalamu ala Allah. Then Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us, don't say Assalamu ala Allah because Allah is As-Salam. So instead you should say At-Tahiyatu Lillah and so on. Now there are two places from this hadith they take that it is fard. First, the saying of Ibn Mas'ud before it was made fard on us. Okay? And the second of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam saying, don't say that, but instead say that. That's a command as well. وَلَكِنْ قُولُوا التَّحِيَّاتُ لِلَّهِ. So they say, he said it was made fard on us, and the hadith itself is saying, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, say. So they say it is fard. Yeah? So كنا نقول قبل أن يفرض علينا التشهد, until he said ولكن قولوا, and so on. Both reasoning for their farida. Why do they say that the salawat is fard as well, or after tahiyatu, Hanabila and Shafi'i? Because they say Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is something, he has done it, he's commanded it. There's one hadith in which they asked Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, they said, Ya Rasulullah, the command of the ayah, Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi, ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. They said, Ya Rasulullah, we know how to do salam to you. How do we do salawat on you? Then he told them this, what we know as Durud Ibrahimi. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. Now, from this, and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam doing it in salah, and because it's a command in Quran, and where can this command be more in need of implementing other than salah? Because there is no other place where salawat is fard. Allah has commanded it, but it's not fard anywhere else. So it's got to be, that command has to be fulfilled here in salah. So that's the reasoning, one of the reasoning, that the salawat on the Prophet is linked with at-tahiyyatu, because sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. They said, we know how to do salam, assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi wa rahmatullah. So how do you do salawat? And he joined that. They said these two are joined together. You don't separate them. Okay? And others said, they said there's not enough dalil to call it a rukun or wajib or fard. It is just a approach they have taken, but the other madhahib, Ahnaf and Malikis, they say sunnah. Yeah. And reason being is sunnah because of the other hadith. When you have done that or you have sat down for that, your salah is, you have completed your salah. You say after tashahud, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said you complete your salah. Now there is a possibility, even that hadith has weakness, but if the hadith was sahih, there is a possibility the narrator is saying, you can say, the narrator is saying, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, when you have done this, or you have read this, you have said this or done this, there's a possibility for you to say, what he means is, he can't remember. Yeah, this is not how Ahnaf took it, but you can say that. And because this happens in hadith a lot. Let's stop here. That's enough for today. I'll finish off. There's not much left on tashahud.